Game started.
Okay, War and Peace. I wonder if his parents were fans of the book. Let's try E4. War and Peace. So we got a Sicilian. Let's play open Sicilian. This line could lead to the Sveshnikov or the Kalashnikov. This is the Sveshnikov so far. But instead he's playing it like a dragon. And he hasn't committed to d6 or d5, so he's keeping that in reserve. Let's see. I can't play... Well, I can. I can play bishop e3, but it's better to play f3 first because the knight check is not available. The bishop check is not available. So we're getting to a position here. Yeah, he plays d4 in one move. That's his idea. Okay, I haven't castled. So I take the pawn, knight takes, queen takes. It's got some pressure here. I don't have to take. I could play here. And let's see, bishop c5. Hitting this pawn, he can take, and I'll take back with the knight. Be nice to develop this kingside bishop here. I could also think about playing e5, hitting the knight. And the knight can just drop back to d7, hitting the pawn. Well, e5, knight d7, f4 rather. Let me try that. You can't push this pawn here. I can just take it. And just try and shut in his dragon bishop. Okay, and he accepts that. So let's... I could still castle on either side, I think. He could play c4, c5, c5, c4, c5, d4. Forking these pieces is a threat. So let's prepare to castle kingside. And I'll reroute this knight. If he pushes his pawn to c5, threatening d4, I was going to move the knight away. Yeah, he's got control at c5 square. Maybe I should move the bishop away instead, though. Because knight here, bishop here. How's the knight ever going to move anywhere? Or I could go knight here. But knight here and then... so knight a4 and pawn to d4, kicking the bishop. Okay, let's move the bishop first. This pawn wasn't particularly loose, so it's not a problem. And the knight, after d4, the knight can go to e4. So maybe he won't even play that. Okay, and he's trying to get rid of his bad bishop. Not a bad plan, but I don't have to accede to that. I can play my knight to here. Kind of a tempting looking square for the knight. If he pushes on with c4, I can play a4 supporting the knight. And I can maybe bring the knight to d6 at some point. Maybe c4, knight d6 is even better. So knight d6 now, he's hitting the... he's hitting the b pawn. Maybe I have to let him have that. Can the queen really take the b pawn? The queen might get trapped. If the queen takes on b2, 2, then rook to b1 traps the queen. Not quite. The queen has a3 there to get out, but it can't come out on this diagonal because the bishop and queen control these squares. Close to a trap. So yeah, queen b2, rook b1, queen a3, rook a3, and queen a4. Okay, so he takes the bishop first, and now he can take, perhaps, on b2. We'll see if he wants to do that. I'm not really afraid of that. I mean, I'll gain a tempo here with the rook. And his queen from there can go to c3 or a3. And my rook gets on an open file. Maybe rook b3, queen moves again. I double the rooks, or just play rook to b7 right away, hitting his knight.
Server announcement.
So after rook b3, queen a4 is the only move. There's no way to trap the queen there. So then rook to b7, attacking the knight. Yeah, rook b3, then rook b7. I think that's a way to play it. And if he moves the knight, then this pawn is loose. That's why I'm chasing the queen to... But when I chase the queen to a4, I forgot that it's hitting f4. Failed to pay attention here. Okay, but this comes with tempo. He's got to do something about the knight, and that gives me time to defend f4. So he didn't he didn't bother. Did not bother to defend his knight. Well, that's pretty good. He takes a pawn with a tempo. Threatens to come here, check. King here. So he gets 2 pawns for the piece. Not too shabby. Maybe my knight's actually trapped. Let's kick his queen first, rather than give up another pawn. Let's kick his queen so he doesn't have time to take my knight. See where the queen goes. And I guess my knight can go back to b5 where it was. Let's count the pawns. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I got three pawns for the piece. That's too bad. That's a fair amount of compensation. So if we went to an endgame, for example, queen b4. Yeah, he could just move his queen again. Okay, let's try to bring the knight in from the cold. That's my plan. Oh, my rook was hanging. I totally missed that. Okay. So what have I got here? Anything? I can take on c5, hitting his rook, but it's not much. It's not much at all. If he moves his rook away, though, his f7 square is a bit loose. So maybe queen f2. Threatening check and mate. Or he could just give the exchange back right here. He sees material up, right? If we count pieces, we've got a queen, a rook, and 2 pieces. He's got a queen, a bishop, and 2 rooks. Well, he's just up the exchange and a bunch of pawns. Well, I still have 4 pawns and he's down to 6. So he's up the exchange and 2 pawns. But the threat of queen f2 is pretty serious if the rook moves. Let's see. Well, he could just move the rook. I play queen f2 and then he moves the pawn. And I don't have a way to get to the f2 square. Okay, so he's going to give up the exchange but hope to win the knight. Let's see, if I could move that knight with tempo and then grab the rook, that would be nice. It's possible. Right here, here. Yeah, most of the squares are covered. And that square blocks the bishop. So let's grab the rook. He grabs the knight and then I retreat. Is that possible? Depends on how he takes the knight. If he takes with the rook, I can still try this queen f2 idea. If he takes with the queen, I don't have any good reply to that. My bishop is hanging, my queen is loose. I trade queens and save the bishop, and I'm just down some pawns. And we get into an endgame here. Let's see, can I move the queen somewhere that saves the... Well, he can't take the bishop if I play this. But he can play queen to... he can play queen... Oh, he's hitting my rook too. Let's not forget about that. Let's see. And rook takes is not possible. Okay, so I guess queen takes is forced. Now I have to save my bishop. But I can threaten checkmate at least. So that forces him to do something. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'm just 2 pawns down here. Yeah, so he goes back to defend the checkmate. I can go after this a pawn. Maybe I can get a passed pawn here. He defends with the bishop. And then I'll start activating my king. King up to this square would be good. Oh, that's a nice tactic. Totally missed that. Okay, I'm going to resign here. Interesting, Jane. I will upload this
resigns
and do a postmortem and see you guys later. Bye.